Hey everyone! Today we're diving into something that confuses a lot of people, VPN versus SSH tunneling. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aren't they basically the same thing? And honestly, I used to think that too. But here's the thing. They're actually pretty different, and choosing the wrong one can either waste your resources or leave you less secure than you thought. So in this video, we're going to cover everything. And I mean everything. We'll talk about what tunneling actually means, how VPN tunneling works under the hood, how SSH tunneling works. We'll compare their architectures, their security, their performance, real-world use cases, and most importantly, when you should use each one. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which tool to reach for in any situation. So let's jump in. All right. Before we compare VPN and SSH, we need to understand what tunneling actually is. Think about it this way. You connect to the internet every single day, right? Your emails, your browsing, your Netflix binges, all of that data is traveling through networks. And here's the scary part. Many of those networks are completely unknown to you. They could be compromised, monitored, or just plain insecure. So how do we protect our data while it's moving through all these networks? That's where tunneling comes in. Tunneling is basically like wrapping your data inside another secure connection. Imagine putting your precious package inside a locked, armored truck before sending it across the country. Even if someone tries to peek inside the truck, all they see is, well, a locked truck. They can't see what's actually inside. In the digital world, attackers can see that encrypted traffic is flowing, but they can't see the real content. They can't read your passwords, your messages, or your sensitive files. And this isn't just about privacy. Tunnels also help with access control. They let you reach resources that might otherwise be blocked or restricted. Now, there are two really common tunneling methods out there: VPN tunneling and SSH tunneling. And while they look similar on the surface, their purposes are actually quite different. So let's break them both down, shall we? Section 2. How VPN tunneling works. Let's start with VPN, because most people have at least heard of it, even if they don't fully understand how it works. When you connect to a VPN, it creates an encrypted tunnel between your device, whether that's your laptop, phone, whatever, and a VPN server somewhere out there on the internet. Here's where it gets interesting. Once that tunnel is established, all of your internet traffic flows through it. Everything. Your web browsing, your apps, even background services you didn't know were running. It all goes through that encrypted tunnel. And there's another cool thing happening here. Your IP address changes to match the VPN server's IP address. So when you visit websites, they don't see your real IP address. They see the VPN server's IP instead. It's like wearing a mask on the internet. The really important thing to understand about VPNs is that they work at the network level. What does that mean? It means your apps don't need any special setup or configuration. You just turn on your VPN and boom, everything automatically routes through that tunnel. Your browser doesn't know, your email client doesn't know. They just work normally while the VPN does its thing in the background. Let me give you a real-world example. Say you're at a coffee shop, connected to their public Wi-Fi. We all know public Wi-Fi can be sketchy, right? But if you have a VPN running, it's encrypting your browser traffic, your app traffic, your background services, everything. So even if there's some hacker sitting in the corner trying to snoop on the network, all they see is encrypted gibberish. Your ISP can't see what you're doing either. That's the power of a VPN. Now let's talk about SSH tunneling, which works pretty differently. SSH tunneling also creates a secure tunnel, but it uses the SSH protocol. You know, the same protocol system administrators use to remotely manage servers. But instead of routing all your traffic through it like a VPN does, SSH tunneling forwards specific ports or services. This is a crucial difference. With SSH, only the traffic you specifically choose goes through the tunnel. Everything else, It just uses your normal internet connection. SSH works at the application level, which means you have granular control over what enters that tunnel and what doesn't. Say you need to connect to a database on a remote server, but that database isn't directly accessible from the internet because it's behind a firewall, which is a good security practice, by the way. With SSH tunneling, you can forward just that database port through the secure SSH tunnel. So your database traffic goes through the tunnel, nice and encrypted and secure. But your web browsing, your email, your Spotify, all of that still uses your regular internet connection. It's like having a secret underground passage to one specific building, while you still use the regular roads for everything else. Alright, so now that we understand how both of them work, let's compare their architectures side by side, because the differences are really important. With a VPN, your client device connects to a VPN server. That VPN server then routes all of your traffic to the internet. It's one tunnel for everything, a single point that all your data flows through. With SSH, it's different. Your client connects to an SSH server, and then you're forwarding specific ports through that tunnel. There's no full network routing happening here. You're not changing your IP address for all your traffic. You're just creating secure pathways for specific services. Think of VPN as redirecting your entire house's plumbing through a new filtration system, while SSH is like adding a special filter tap just for your drinking water. One changes everything, the other targets specific needs. Alright, let's talk security, because this is probably what you care about most, right? VPNs encrypt all your traffic, every single packet. They also protect your DNS queries, which is often overlooked but super important. And they hide your IP address completely for all your internet activity. But here's the catch. You're depending on your VPN provider's trustworthiness. You're essentially shifting trust from your ISP to your VPN provider. If that VPN provider is logging your data or has security vulnerabilities, well, you're not as protected as you think. SSH tunneling, on the other hand, has strong encryption too, the same encryption that's been battle-tested by system administrators for decades. And because you're only tunneling specific services, you have limited exposure. If something goes wrong, it's only affecting that one tunnel, not all your traffic. However, SSH doesn't mask your IP address for your full traffic. If you browse the web normally while using SSH tunneling for just a database connection, websites still see your real IP. The advantage with SSH is you have better control per service. You decide exactly what goes through that tunnel. With a VPN, it's all or nothing. Let's be real, nobody likes slow internet. So performance matters. VPNs have higher overhead because they're encrypting and routing absolutely everything. The latency you experience depends a lot on how far away that VPN server is. If you're in New York, connecting to a VPN server in Australia, yeah, you're gonna notice that lag. And if you're doing high-traffic workloads, like downloading large files or streaming 4K video, VPNs can definitely slow you down. SSH tunneling is much more lightweight. Since you're only forwarding specific services, there's less overhead. If you just need to access one database or one internal service, SSH is going to be noticeably faster. But here's the thing. SSH isn't designed for full web browsing. Could you technically tunnel your entire browser through SSH? Sure. Should you? Probably not. It's not optimized for that, and you'll have a much worse experience than with a proper VPN. Alright, enough theory. Let's talk about when you'd actually use these in real life. VPN use cases are pretty straightforward. You've got remote employees who need to access the company network securely. That's a classic VPN scenario. Or maybe you're traveling, and you want secure browsing on public Wi-Fi at airports or hotels. VPNs are also popular for bypassing network restrictions, whether that's geo-blocked content or workplace firewalls. Basically, anytime you want to protect all your device traffic, VPN is the way to go. SSH tunneling use cases are more specialized. This is what developers and system administrators reach for. SSH tunnel. Managing remote servers? SSH tunnel. Setting up dev testing environments that need to connect to internal resources? SSH tunnel. It's also perfect for temporary secure connections when you don't want the overhead of setting up a full VPN. I use SSH tunneling all the time when I'm developing. I'll SSH into a server and forward a port so I can access a database or a web service that's not publicly accessible. It's quick, it's lightweight, and it does exactly what I need without affecting anything else. All right, enough theory. When should you choose a VPN? Use a VPN when you want full device protection, when you need privacy for all your apps, not just one or two. If you work remotely for long hours and you're handling sensitive company data, a VPN is probably your best bet. And if you use public networks often, coffee shops, airports, hotels, definitely use a VPN. Basically, if you want to set it and forget it and have everything protected automatically, VPN is your answer. All right, enough theory. Here's where it gets interesting. Section 9. When to use SSH tunneling. And when should you use SSH tunneling? Choose SSH when you only need access to one specific service. If you're a developer or system administrator managing servers, SSH is your bread and butter. If you want minimal overhead and maximum speed for that one connection, SSH is the way. And if you just need temporary secure access, maybe you're at a conference and need to quickly grab something from your home server, SSH is perfect for that. SSH is surgical. It's for when you know exactly what you need and you don't want to mess with anything else. All right, let's bring this all together. VPN protects everything. SSH protects specific paths. VPN focuses on privacy and routing your entire connection. SSH focuses on secure access to particular services. Neither one is better than the other. They're just tools for different jobs. And the key to good security is choosing the right tool for the situation, not just following the hype. And there you have it. Now you know the real difference between VPN and SSH tunneling. You know when to use each one, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and how they actually work under the hood. The next time you need to secure a connection, you'll know exactly which tool to reach for. Use the right tunnel for the right job. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more security breakdowns. I've got a ton more content coming on networking, security, and development topics. Drop a comment below if you have questions, or if there's another topic you want me to cover. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.